I actually think that videos like this are great for hip hop. I mean, the 616 in LA breakdown by What's the Dirt, it gets people into lyrics. It gets people really listening to lyrics. It puts a focus on lyrics and breaking down, analyzing what's happening in a verse, any given verse. So I think that's great. But I think you guys are choosing the wrong rapper to do this with. Like Kendrick Lamar his lyrics are not deep enough lyrically to require a 1 hour breakdown of his bars. Like he's just not that type of rapper, and he's never been that type of rapper. I know on the internet it's illegal almost to say anything critical or not super positive about Kendrick Lamar. But trust me, I've been listening to Kendrick since 2009. I pretty much know what I'm talking about in general when it comes to this dude. So for example, let's take one of Kendrick Lamar's deepest songs. This is like, for me, as deep as Kendrick gets. How Much a Dollar Costs. This is off To Pimp a Butterfly. This is one of his deepest songs. It's deep in a different way. It's not deep lyrically. It doesn't require you to look at the lyrics and break everything down for an hour, 2 hours. The song is deep with its messaging and what it's trying to say to you, and the theme, the message it's trying to convey. So basically, the song is about Kendrick. He runs into a homeless person. He almost brushes a homeless person off. The homeless person turns out to be Jesus, Son of God. It sounds really strange, but when you listen to the song, it's songwriting mastery by Kendrick, because there's a setup, a payoff, and a climax, and it's one of his deepest songs. But when you look at the lyrics, when we really break down the lyrics, everything is pretty straightforward. Like Kendrick is not, in one of his deepest songs, he's not requiring you to dig deep to understand what he's saying, unless you don't know what certain words mean, like indigenous or like Zulu. But I mean, the people who this album is aimed at, they know what Zulu is. They know what indigenous means. Everything is pretty laid out straightforward for you. It doesn't require any deep thought into the lyrics. What it does force you to do is think, and it makes you think about your own experiences. Kendrick's experience that he explains in this song. Okay, now how do I treat people? What's the proper way to treat people? It makes you think about life, your own life, and think critically about how you interact with people. And that in itself is deep. What I'm talking about is lyrically deep. So let me go to another Kendrick Lamar's example. I think this is one of his deepest songs lyrically in terms of rhyme scheme. This is one of Kendrick's most impressive songs lyrically. It's called Momma, off the same album as How Much a Dollar Costs. It's off To Pimp a Butterfly. The reason this song is so lyrically complex is because of the rhyme scheme. Feeling is unmatched. Feeling it brought to you by Adrenaline Good Rap. Black Pendleton, Ball Cap. We don't share the same synonym, fall back. Been in it since internet had new acts. Mimicking radio's nemesis. Like his rhyme scheme and his flow is untouched. This is like one of Kendrick's best rapping performances. But again, let's read the verse. It doesn't require, visiting freestyle ciphers for your reaction. Now I can live in a stadium, pack up the fastest, gambling Benjamins, sitting in traffic, spinning women in cartwheels, linen, fabric on fashion. Like, none of this requires you to like double think. It doesn't require you to be like, what does that mean? What does this mean? And I'm going to show you an example of a rapper who does require you to really think about what you just heard. Everything is straightforward. And admittedly, Kendrick Lamar is not trying to be super deep lyrically and do all these metaphors.
Hearing the comments, the critics are calling me conscious, so truthfully, only calling me quietly in common proves that ignorance is bliss.
So that's why I say, even though I appreciate this video by What's the Dirt, there's nothing in 16 in LA that requires an hour breakdown. Kendrick Lamar is just not that type of rapper. And this is part of the reason why I did my Not Like Us video breakdown, which is satire. DJ Mustard, burgers, Pam's Burgers, mustard and burgers. I did that because people tend to, when they're listening to Kendrick and looking at his videos, watching his videos, they assign metaphors and references to him that he didn't even do himself. Milk. These are old milk crates. What do goats produce? Milk. Kendrick is saying he's the goat right here. Now, why does Kendrick have this afro pick at a 90-degree angle off his forehead? It's because means he's right. 90-degree angle is called what? A right angle. He's saying he's the right one in this beef, meaning Drake is the wrong one. Like Kendrick Lamar could be wearing white shoes in his video, And people will be like, oh, Kendrick Lamar wore white shoes because Langston Hughes in his 1988 book, he described a character who wore white shoes. And that book was about racial politics in America. And Kendrick is looking at Drake because he's not like us. So he wore white shoes in the video because he's referencing the Langston Hughes book from 1988. No. The nigga just wore white shoes, bro. It matched his fit. Why are there 10 hopscotch squares and Kendrick is not hopscotching them correctly? It means that Kendrick is not playing these childish games, okay, that Drake is playing. Not like this video, people will be like, well, Kendrick put the owl in the cage because Maya Angelou, I know why the caged bird sings. He's saying Drake is caged to his persona of the owl that he's created. He sings, Drake sings, like, bro, it was just a clever thing to put the owl in the cage. Drake on the Family Matters video took the Good Kid, Mad City van, dismantled it, took it to a chop shop. Kendrick in the Not Like Us video takes the owl, cages the owl. It's got nothing to do with Maya Angelou, but people do this, man. Like, so for example, this is 616 in LA lyrics. People will say, yo, Kendrick is rapping from the perspective of Drake in the song, therefore, indubitably, existentially, no, he's not rapping from Drake's perspective in this verse. If he's rapping from Drake's perspective, why would this line make sense? Trifecta, money, morals, and culture, that's my leisure. When Kendrick is already saying throughout this beef that Drake pretty much is not cultured and he has no morals. So like I said, people love to assign stuff to Kendrick that he's not even trying to say, which is cool. I mean, it's good that people are looking at lyrics, trying to break stuff down, but Kendrick is not that type of rapper. Like Lupe Fiasco is who y'all think Kendrick Lamar is. And Kendrick and Lupe, my two favorite rappers of all time. But Lupe Fiasco is the guy who you need an hour breakdown on his verses. Lupe Fiasco is the guy that's hiding stuff in verses and making all these references. And then this line is a metaphor, that line is a metaphor. This verse is referencing those lines, and like the two verses are metaphors within metaphors. Like this is actually what Lupe's back. This is what he does. Lupe, I mean, look at this. This is a very light song by Lupe Fiasco, Lupe the Killer. Verse 1, I bring you murder in the first. It starts off with a double entendre. Murder in the first verse, first degree murder. Second verse, 187 on my second, I reckon. This is an assault with a deadly session. Verse 3, I make him give up the ghost, trifecta. So he's got a theme. Like as he's writing this song, there's a theme within a theme. This is where I lay it down like a bird giving birth. So call me Lou the Giant's goose or just Fabergé paint till I'm called back to the shore by the waters of the bay. This is an example of something that a reference that you might not understand. You might listen to this song 30, 40, 50 times. You might not understand this reference until you've lived enough to understand what Fabergé paint is, to really understand what he's saying. Fabergé paint, they created like eggs for Russian royalty or something like this. They're like exotic eggs, basically. Lou the Giant's goose, reference to eggs. Where I lay it down like a bird giving birth. All of this plays into each other. Or like here, I might strike oil while I've been laid, homie, I'm so crude. Texas T, haters is so screwed. Those is metaphors right there. I might strike oil where I lay. I'm so crude. Oil, crude oil. Again, you might not understand this until you live enough to understand what crude oil is. And then why does he reference Texas? Lots of crude oil in Texas. Texas T, I'm so screwed. DJ Screw, screwed up music from Texas. Like all this is the shit that you guys think Kendrick is doing, but he's not, and he doesn't want to be this type of rapper. I can't feel it like a flathead in a Phillips. Again, you guys might be looking at this like, what does that mean? I can't feel it. It's flathead screwdriver and a Phillips screwdriver. A Phillips won't fit in a flathead screw, and a flathead won't fit in a Phillips. He's saying, I'm not feeling you. I can't feel you, dude. Can't feel it like a flathead in a Phillips. Then he said, don't get it twisted. I'm no tool. Now this is like kind of age, because tool used to be an insult. You call somebody a tool. But a flathead screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, what are those? What are those? They're tools. Or for example, Ab-Soul. I would wager Ab-Soul is deeper than Kendrick lyrically. We're not saying Kendrick not deep. We saying the type of stuff y'all be doing, like with these super breakdowns to the videos and the lyrics and assigning stuff to Kendrick that he's not even actually saying, like He's never been that type of rapper. Ab-Soul and Lupe are what y'all think Kendrick is. Like here, Ab-Soul. We overseas back to back. Never wore Chanel. That's a bar. We're overseas back to back. Basically, we taking flights. It's a flex. We flying across the country, back to back, across continents. Never wore Chanel. What's Chanel's logo? 2 C's, back to back. We overseas, back to back. Never wore Chanel. Kendrick does not rap like this. Kendrick doesn't have like these type of punchlines and similes and metaphors doing shit like this. He may do it every so often, but that's not his MO. And let me just show you another example of someone who does do this. This is Lupe again. This is on The Pressure off his first album featuring Jay-Z. Notice how the first verse starts off with, "So it seems that I'm sewing jeans. 1st and 15th is just a sewing machine. I cut the pattern and I sew it sheens. Button in this hustling." It's imagery. Now you're imagining a man at a sewing machine, creating jeans. I'm buttoning this hustling publicly. I'm Buddy Lee. I'm making the best jeans. Buddy Lee. Again, it's a reference. If you understand it, you understand it. And look how he continues this jeans reference. Long after you may think he's done with the reference, it's still going. There's no busting them and cuffing them. It's like ushering in a regime. They want me to make Prince pen. I'll withstand. I ain't into that. A little big in the waist, 2 pocket on the back, big and Tupac reference, tucked in. It's a metaphor tucked in between a metaphor. Look at this. Was black beard until I bought the rock into your ships. That's a bar. Hold on.
That's called motherfucking bars, nigga. You know
Blackbeard the pirate bought the rock into your ships, rocked your ships. Blackbeard was a pirate, ships, pirates. The Rock, Jay-Z's on this song. This is when people thought Lupe was gonna sign to Rockefeller. And then look, you may think he's done with the jeans reference. Verse 2, I'm hella proper, sax so low you can see boxer. Like a boxer's. Bars within bars, bro. That's the way that the family's pants worn. Don't be sly, try to put them on. Beware if you want to rock the knickerbocker of the niggas from the block was. They was selling O's like Wheel of Fortune. That's bars. Look, this is not a Kendrick hate video. This is just me saying Kendrick is not trying. I'm sure he could if he wanted, because he's that great of a writer, but he's not trying to be super lyrical like this. This is a song that requires an hour-long breakdown. They was selling O's like Wheel of Fortune. Beware what the W. Tell them that your soul's not for sale like the W's. So go ahead and pirate the highest. Cannons make you leak like pirated my shit. Them guns make you leak like pirated records. What do we call songs that are pirated? They're called leaks. Cannons make you leak. This is a double entendre. Really triple, because he references what happened earlier in this verse was Blackbeard until I bought the rock into your ships. So now I think you guys understand. There's different levels of deepness and complexity to lyrics. Kendrick is not trying to do stuff like this. And my main thing is he doesn't need all these super breakdowns assigning he said this, he said that. He wasn't even trying to say that. Y'all created that with the fantasy in your head. I guess I was just guessing like the consonants. Back to the Wheel of Fortune reference. So it's some Wheel of Fortune shit going here. There's some jeans, pants references that continue from the first verse. And then there's the pirates and, Blackbeard that continued it from the first verse. This is dense levels of lyricism that requires breakdowns. And that requires, maybe he was saying this, maybe he was saying that. Look how many people contributed to this song. It took 91 people to break this song down, and they still don't even have all the bars broken down. Like, I can add this, sax so low you can see boxer like a boxer's. I can add what he means by there. So it was before this, genius was genius. It was rap genius. So it's before like these type of people come in and start saying, oh, verse 1 of 616 in LA is Kendrick rapping like Drake because back in 07 and doing indubitably and expeditiously. This is before that. This is really people trying to sit here and understand what he's saying. Let's actually look at one more song. And I'll go back to my earlier reference, Ab-Soul. So you'll often hear people say, no, Ab-Soul was the best rapper in TDE. Not saying, again, you say anything that's not super positive about Kendrick, people lose their shit. Not saying Kendrick isn't good, but Ab-Soul is the best. People say that because people who know lyrics and know how to listen for stuff, they hear the bars, the metaphors, the similes, the double entendres that Ab-Soul is doing that Kendrick does not really do like that. Kendrick doesn't hang his hat on that type of stuff, and that's fine. But the people who know rap, Do you ever thought about why a lot of people saying no, Ab-Soul is the most lyrical one in TDE. Ab-Soul was the best rapper, pure rapper. It's because Kendrick is not doing what, Kendrick is not complex or deep enough lyrically as an Ab-Soul. That's Ab-Soul's bag. Just the first bar, my back against the wall. I can see y'all fronting. It's crazy. I see through your true colors like stained glass. And then we have Kendrick. This is Ab-Soul and Kendrick rapping back to back. So I encourage you to actually go listen to this song. This is an unreleased song. Even though Ab-Soul is more lyrical in this song, I still wouldn't say he outdid Kendrick. It's hard to say who outdid who because there's just two different styles. And that's my whole point of this video. Ab-Soul is a complex lyrical. You got to think about the bar style. Kendrick Lamar is more in your face, more, great delivery, great flow. He's going to take over a track, great vocal inflection. It's two different styles. And my point is Kendrick is not this style. I see through your true colors like stained glass. That was like 95. Now it's 2010, 2 years away from when they say the world's expected to end. And I ain't even begin. That's more ironic than a bum asking for 50 cents from many men. One, I got an appetite for habitual liars on the mic who with pliers couldn't get a grip on life. On the real, this ain't a construction site, but you know the drill. We lead the league in all aspects. We deserve more medals than a magnet. Putting niggas in the hole like bad debt. That's called bars.
Fucking bars, nigga. You know nothing about that.
So yeah, man. Like I said, Kendrick been my favorite rapper since like 09, 10. I say all this to say there are rappers that require these super lyrical breakdowns and require benefit of the doubt. Like, oh, maybe he was saying this, so he said this, but maybe also by saying this word, he was also referencing this. Kendrick is not that. He's never been that type of rapper. We just looked at two of his deepest songs, deep in terms of messaging and complexity in terms of lyricism. It's not that. So that's all I got. Let me know what y'all think. Are these people? Am I the wrong one here? And it's just going over my head. I listen to a lot of music. I break down like the most probably lyrical rapper I heard ever. It's like Lupe Fiasco or Ka. Ka is crazy. Like Ka is like deep lyricism. But maybe it's Kendrick stuff is just going over my head. Maybe I don't have the IQ, as they say, to catch all the references. But let me know in the comments. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Top5rapwebsite.com.